Hello there. Welcome to Sumit Academy. I do hope that you have subscribed to my channel. Do subscribe now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. In this video, we shall talk about untouchability in India. The use of the term untouchable and the social disabilities associated with it were declared illegal by the Constituent Assembly in 1949. Mahatma Gandhi called untouchables as Harijans or children of God and long worked for their emancipation. However, this name is now considered condescending and offensive. The term Dalit later came to be used, especially by politically active members, though that too occasionally has negative connotations. The official designation scheduled caste is the most commonly used term in India now. More than 160 million people in India are considered untouchable, people tainted by their birth into a caste system that deems them impure, less than human. Even today, in many parts of India and especially in the rural areas, scheduled castes are not allowed to drink from the same wells, attend the same temples, wear shoes in the presence of an upper caste, or drink from the same cups in tea stalls. Over the last few centuries, they have been relegated to the lowest jobs and have lived in constant fear of being publicly humiliated, paraded naked, beaten, and raped with impunity by upper caste Hindus seeking to keep them in their place. Merely walking through an upper caste neighborhood used to be a life-threatening offense. The Indian Constitution guarantees equality for all, but the deep-rooted caste system in our society has never allowed the Dalits to be treated on par with the upper castes. Hindus believe that a person is born into one of the four castes based on karma and purity, how he or she lived their past lives. Those born as Brahmins are priests and teachers. Kshatriyas are rulers and soldiers. Vaishyas are merchants and traders. And Shudras are laborers. Within these four castes, there are thousands of subcastes defined by profession, region, dialect, and other factors. Untouchables are literally outcasts, a fifth group that is considered so unworthy that it doesn't fall within the caste system. India's caste system is perhaps the world's longest surviving social hierarchy. The system persists today for economic as much as religious reasons. Because they are considered impure from birth, Dalits perform jobs that are traditionally considered unclean or exceedingly menial and for very little pay, such as manual scavengers, cleaning latrines and sewers by hand, and clearing away dead animals. Millions more are agricultural workers trapped in an inescapable cycle of extreme poverty, illiteracy, and oppression. Although illegal, most Dalits are bonded workers working to pay off debts that were incurred generations ago. These people work under slave-like conditions, working in fields or factories. Dalit women are particularly hard hit. They are frequently raped or beaten as a means of reprisal against male relatives who are thought to have committed some act worthy of upper caste vengeance. They are also subject to arrest if they have male relatives hiding from the authorities. There is very little recourse available to victims. A report released by Amnesty International in 2001 found an extremely high number of sexual assaults on Dalit women, frequently perpetrated by landlords, upper caste villagers, and police officers. The study estimates that only about 5% of attacks are registered and that police officers dismissed at least 30% of rape complaints as false. The practice of untouchability is often associated with Hinduism and believed to be found only in India. But it has been prevalent in different names in other countries too, as the buraku in Japan, as the paikhyong in Korea, as the ragyapya in erstwhile Tibet, and as pagoda slaves in Myanmar. The barriers of caste continued to strengthen over centuries until voices of reform emerged from colonial India. In the 19th century, Jyotirao Phule questioned the discriminatory social system which had rendered lakhs of people poor, ignorant, and illiterate. He fought for equal rights and education for lower classes. While Mahatma Gandhi was uniting India to rise against the oppressive British government, Baba Saheb Ambedkar was guiding Indians towards a spiritual development. He also joined hands with Mahatma Gandhi in the Harijan movement, which protested against the social injustices faced by people belonging to backward castes in India. Swami Dayanand Saraswati also opposed the caste system and the superiority of Brahmins in the society. He supported the right of every individual, irrespective of caste, creed, and color, and opposed the practice of untouchability. Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar, known as the father of the Dravidian movement, did notable work against Brahmanical dominance and gender and caste inequality in Tamil Nadu. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar strongly believed that everyone, irrespective of their caste or gender, had the right to education. He opened up the Sanskrit College for people from the so-called lower castes. The British rulers made them a separate administrative category, initially calling them as depressed classes and later as the scheduled castes, as per the Government of India Act 1935. The Constitution of India formally recognized the plight of the untouchables by legally establishing their ethnic subgroups as scheduled castes. In addition, the designation scheduled tribes was given to the indigenous peoples of the country who fall outside of the Indian social hierarchy. Besides banning untouchability, the Government of India has evolved a large number of policies and programs for the welfare and empowerment of the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. The Constitution provides these groups with specific educational and vocational privileges and grants them special representation in the parliament and legislative assemblies. A percentage of government jobs too have been reserved for them. To prevent victimization while working, many government departments have a separate quota of promotions for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe employees. In support of these efforts, the Untouchability Offences Act 1955 provides penalties for preventing anyone from enjoying a wide variety of religious, occupational, and social rights on the grounds that he or she is from a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. Social inequality has thus become a cornerstone of the Indian Constitution. Policies and legislations have been introduced in an attempt to minimize the influence of caste in the public sphere. Post-independence, the relevance of caste system in Indian society has certainly reduced by the state policies of affirmative action. Thanks to strict laws, an open display of caste discrimination in offices, markets, and places of worship has reduced to a large extent. People from oppressed classes have been granted reservations in government educational institutes and jobs, which has helped break traditional barriers of occupation and has brought those people in the mainstream. This has enabled the emergence of a new educated and urban middle class within the scheduled caste communities. They have now become much more assertive about their human and political rights. Today, very few of the former untouchables would accept their low status as a naturally given reality or accept it simply as their fate. They all aspire to more comfortable material circumstances. They all demand more dignity. This rise in scheduled caste identity and their growing participation in democratic politics is indeed an evidence of a positive change and weakening of the power of caste. Another interesting fact is that the state policy of quotas and political mobilization of communities have changed the value of caste in the present day India. Caste has now become an important factor in the democratic political process. Do think about it. Do we still need to victimize a group of our society as socially unacceptable? Unfortunately, even today, being a scheduled caste continues to be a marker of disadvantage or social exclusion. The fact that caste violence is almost always a one-way process where they end up at the receiving end also says enough about the continued inequalities of caste groups. Caste prejudice and caste-based social exclusion continues to be a fact of both urban and rural life in contemporary India as well. The legacy of caste is hard to erase for those coming from the lower end of the traditional hierarchy. Caste unfortunately, is still a source of deprivation, denial, and discrimination. The traditional divisions between caste groups persist in some levels of Indian society, making full emancipation of these groups slow to come about. Scheduled caste assertions have always invoked violence and atrocities against them. Perceptions and prejudices in private matters like marriage and household have continued to exist. Well, that's all from me in this video. This video is based on the information freely available on the internet. No originality is claimed for the same. I express my gratitude to all the media and legal websites for the information carried by them. The intention of this video is to prepare candidates for answering examination questions on the subject. Do like this video and do subscribe to my channel now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. Till later then, cheerio.